beige, dark brown, two-tone contrast seems to work very, very well, even if it does feel like you're sitting inside a humbug or something similar. The steering wheel is very low down, it really is. It's quite bizarre. It's almost like sitting on a child's toy with a steering wheel, an oversized adult on a small child's steering wheel. It's very odd. Even with the seats adjusted, it's going to be a bit of a strange experience, this one. In fact, I have to say it's too low, and even with the steering up, it's only going to come up here anyway. So you're back to a very odd driving position. But anyway, the actual car itself is very comfortable. I do actually feel very open at the front because it has this enormous windscreen, which I have to say is rather appealing, because you really do get a fantastic panorama of vision. The rear view mirror is hung down the best part of about 12 inches, which is very odd, because at the end of the day I don't see any reason why it would need to come down so much. And furthermore, it blocks up a lot of the windscreen, which is a bit silly. I do like the dashboard. The dashboard is very clear. The instrument cluster way up in the middle, far away from the steering wheel, so you don't have to worry about anything getting obstructed in your line of vision. Digital readout, which is always a great thing, because it means you can see how fast you're going a lot easier than having to read a speed dial. Obviously you've got the sat nav screen over there. You know, this is actually a lot more thought out for a French car. Although French cars are known for being a bit quirky, in this particular instance the quirkiness is paying off. I've noticed this roof of these screens here does tend to vibrate and bounce up and down as you're driving along, which is a bit of an indicator of poor workmanship, it would have to be said. The side mirrors are very large, which is always a good thing. I think the bigger the better when it comes to wing mirrors. It's very important to see what's going on around you after all. And of course every vehicle has that dreaded blind spot, so with these mirrors at least you've got a chance of getting your bloody vision at an angle and seeing what the hell's going on around you. A lot of headroom on this vehicle. Anybody 6'6" could sit in here, it'd still have headroom. Steering is actually very light, even though it's an odd angle. It's a very nimble vehicle. It feels like it has a very good turning circle. But as I was saying earlier on, the seating position is very odd. You feel as if everything is down below you and you're actually sitting like a giant in a miniatures car. It's very, very odd. The rear vision is fantastic, even if it is a bit of a strange shaped back window, but you've definitely got a good idea of what's going on, and you can see over the rear seat headrests rather than through them. This is a manual gearbox with 6 gears, and as far as Renaults go, it's actually the better gearbox that I've come across. The steering on this is lovely. It's very light, very smooth. It feels very efficient, and being a front wheel drive, I suppose you do feel it pulling in certain directions when you go around the corner, I would say, but it works well, this car. The instrument panel here, very easily laid out, all minimalistic. I like it a lot. It's easy to read. Maybe a bit cheap and tacky looking, but it's stylish, it's okay. You know, I think if you could get the colour scheme right with this vehicle, you could end up with a rather good looking car. Back seats, very large. You've got 3 actual individual seats, not a squeeze at all. You can get 3 adults in the back of this very, very, very comfortably. These Renault Meganes, Renault Scenics, they've been around for a while, you know, and because of the enormous quantum advantages that are now being displayed in the production of these vehicles, it shows that the longevity of the production is starting to pay off. These cars are good. These cars are very good. They're very good. They're very nicely put together. Even on the door panels, the door cards rather, we have stitched upholstery, which is great. One thing this vehicle does have though is it has one of these electronic fly-by-wire handbrakes, and I tell you what, they're horrible. I've never got used to them, and I never will. There was a time just then, about 30 seconds ago, where I needed the use of the handbrake to slip the clutch, and because I was on a slope, and you can't really do it with these electric handbrakes. They're a pain in the arse. You've got a USB port on here and an iPod jack, so this car is certainly keeping up with common trends, or modern trends should I say. It's a very smooth ride for a Renault. It trots along quite nicely. It quickly develops speed. There's no dramatic acceleration, although I would have thought there's a bigger engine version of this which would probably be quite nippy. There's a lot of wind resistance, which is expected with a vehicle of this size. Very aware of other vehicles around me. The vision on this, visibility on this, is probably the best I've had in any car. You know, once you get used to the unusual driving position, it immediately becomes obvious that this is a well thought out car. It is very noisy, I think, with the air going on. Let me just check that all the windows are closed. Yeah, I can hear the wind breaking off the car as it's forcing its way through the atmosphere, if you like. But these are good cars. This is a very pleasant vehicle to drive. The more time I spend in it, the more I'm becoming accustomed to the driving position, and it actually feels very, very comfortable. But I'm not too sure how it affects the ability to steer in an emergency. I think there could be a danger being seated so high up and the steering so low that if you were braking hard and trying to swerve, I think that there may be a danger of you actually falling over or coming over the steering wheel, because you are dealing with centrifugal forces, and if you're braking hard you're going to be coming forward, and with a normal standard steering wheel you're going to be using the steering wheel to prevent yourself from coming forward, and because this is so low, I don't think you're going to be able to do that. I think the chances are you're going to be falling forward while you're trying to steer, and that could be catastrophic. The brakes are okay on this. They don't feel too grabby. In fact, they're not grabby at all. I can apply the brakes to a gradient pressure without the calipers squeezing on the discs. This is a great car. I think anybody thinking of buying one of these, if you take it for a test drive, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. There's a lot of French cars on the market at the moment, and I would say they're all a load of rubbish. There's only a handful that I'd probably consider giving a good review about. But as far as the French cars go, at the moment, this is the only one that's getting a thumbs up. It goes well, it drives well, fantastic visibility, very comfortable, it's a nice design. I think Renault might actually be beginning to get it right with the Renault Scenic.